And what is up, Broncos Country and world champion Nuggets Nation? Welcome to another awesome episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on the Orange and Blue Network. We've got an exciting show ahead today. We have not heard back from him officially yet, but it was in ink that Mike Klis, the one and only Broncos insider from 9 News, Mike Klis, would be joining us here tonight to regale us with his wonderful Broncos knowledge. But we still have plenty to talk about. We took a week off last week. It is good to be back, and we can't wait. Guys, let's get to it.
Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
What is up, Broncos Country? How you doing, Nuggets Nation? Welcome, Orange and Blue crew, to another Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network. I am the Mile High Viking, Johnny Baki. I am your host for this evening, and joining me as always, my partner in crime, this second half of my childhood, my cousin, Jay, the Denver Dream, Dreamweaver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I'm so glad to be back. It seems like I haven't been on for quite a long time, or it just seems like I haven't had a Denver Bronco mind, I guess, going into a podcast, because I've just been constant Nuggets, and it's just been like one tunnel vision, understandably. But like, I'm getting football feelings, and maybe it's like only 1 week without basketball, or like 2 weeks without basketball, but like I'm already like, oh, all right, when are we going here? Like I'm already ready to.
Yeah. Hey, guys, drop in the comment stream for me. Am I lagging or is Jay lagging? One of us is lagging. Because Jay is cutting out in and out in my ear, and I don't know if it's my connection or his. So if you guys would help us out, drop it in the comments. Tell us who it is.
Smoke signal
really
up,
appreciate
guys.
that love. Yeah, smoke signal up. So guys, we took a week off, and we had some fun. I mean, I had a nice relaxing week. I don't know about you, Jay. I know that you had some things going on for you, and I'm so sorry for that. Ty says neither one of us.
Hey, and peaks and valleys, just like the Rocky Mountains, man. That John Denver was not full of crap. I'll tell you that.
We grew up there. We were born there. You know John Denver's not full of crap.
Well, that's true.
That John Denver's full of crap, man. No, I'm just kidding. He's not. He's not. We love John Denver here. So, guys,
we love him.
lots of Broncos stuff. So it's not lots, actually, not terribly lots, but still plenty for us to talk about. Especially in light of 2 weeks or basically a week off. I had a good week with my family. Got to do some stuff. Got a little sunburned in the pool, and not a whole lot going on. I'm really super pumped because this Saturday for Father's Day, my kids got me tickets on VetTix, which I want to reach out to VetTix, see if we can partnership with them because they're awesome. For veterans, tickets to premier events for the cost of the sales tax. So
that's pretty awesome,
pretty amazing. But so for Father's Day, my kids and my wife surprised me with tickets to the World Finals of Monster Jam here in Nashville this Saturday. And dude, so we're talking 50 Monster Jam trucks, an all-day affair. It's going to be a blast.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I'm excited. I love monster trucks.
Well, I mean, who doesn't?
So
red-blooded Americans such as yourself.
Yeah,
who wouldn't like monster trucks?
Oh man, so we already got some. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
No, go. You had something to say.
No.
Say it.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm sure your boys are like flipping over that. I know my boys would absolutely be flipping over monster trucks. Monster truck rally. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm so excited, dude. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. So we've already got some of our good friends in the house. We got Avatar, always the first to throw out a comment, even if he's doing it an hour or two before the show goes live. I love it. He says, "What's up, Broncos Country and the 2023 NBA champions, Nuggets Nation?" I have always been a big fan of Mike Klis. Enjoy watching his interviews here in Denver. I love Mike Klis. I can't wait for him to get in, to join us here, and we will grace us with his presence.
That has not gotten old to hear that yet, right? Like,
what's that?
Are the champions, like
are
the NBA champions, like that, like
it feels so good.
It's like pinch. It makes no sense. It's not real. It's not real yet. I don't think enough time hasn't passed yet. Yeah, no, I mean it definitely feels like just yesterday. I was getting ready to fix out. We were just going into the finals. And I mean, oh my God, man, it is surreal. It is. Yeah. I'm no longer walking around screaming about it. I'm not like, yes, but I'm like, every time I hear it or I think of, like I'm sitting at my desk, I've got my little Nuggets basketball hoop mounted on the side of my desk in my cubicle with a little ball, and I'll sit there and shoot it while I'm working. And I've got now I have my 2023. I have and I hung it up this week. My 2023 playoffs towel, finals towel that my wife ordered for me, hanging up next to it. And I'm sitting there and I'll be like working. I'll turn towards, I'll look and I'll smile and I'll be like, "We're the champions, man!" Right? It's great. So with you, Jay, it is surreal. It hasn't quite sunk in yet that we are the freaking champions. Yeah. But I'm loving every second. Now that the draft is over and I can, fiddle with late first round draft picks for the Nuggets, and that suppresses my appetite for a wee bit here in the dead of sports. But because it's not like we're gonna watch the Rockies or any baseball or anything. But that's beside the point. But you mean the Rockies? You mean the Rockies that got blown out 25-1? By the Anaheim Angels just the other day? Dude, my God. The people in the outfield must have felt like they were at Red Rocks the other night. Dude, how do you lose a professional MLB baseball game 25-1? My God. So it's not even my team. It's not even my team, and I'm embarrassed for them. It's just Dick being Dick, man. It's just Dick being Dick. Sell the team. But yeah. But dude, training camp is around the corner, and I don't know about you, but like I do, guilty pleasure, I plug into like, some of the mainstream. I listen to Altitude, I listen to The Fan, not every show on those stations, but like I like to see what mainstream is talking about. And it's interesting to see that everyone is now, it's Broncos season. It's just like that.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, it is because there's nothing else for Colorado to be hopeful for.
Yep, nonstop Bronco coverage, and it's kind of revitalized my juices of like, you know what? Now that you mention it, we don't have a pass rush. Now that you mention it, why?
There's a lot of healthy competition there, though. There's a lot of competition there.
Come on, what, Mr. Lancaster? Come on now.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
we got D-Rock in the house saying hello and salutations to all. We got our buddy Rob Myrick, Bronco Rob in the house saying go Broncos.
Yeah.
Our buddy Ty Y in the house saying he's here, but he's not feeling too well. Ty, our thoughts and prayers. We love you, brother, and hope you get to feel a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We got let's see, Avatar coming back in saying I will be having fun over the 4th of July weekend with his cat's birthday on July 3rd.
Cats in America, man.
I mean, Jay grew up in a cat household.
It wasn't my favorite. I mean...
Oh, I know it wasn't your favorite, but you still grew up in that household.
True. Hence why I don't have cats now. But to each their own, happy cat's birthday to you and America.
I had a cat for a while, but... extenuating circumstances, i.e. the birth of my children, caused me to have to get rid of that cat because I could not trust her. I am now the proud best friend of 4 dogs.
Ooh, there you go.
So,
woof, woof.
I know, really, I've got a zoo. If you include my children in the mix, I have a zoo.
Well, I'm gonna pull a real hard pivot. We got Jody Moncrief. Sorry, Jody Moncrief in the building, and he's throwing out a new hook traded thoughts. So I'm not as broken up about that as I think I should be, or maybe later on down the line I will be. Kind of like a Are
you talking about the trade new hook for Johansson?
No. He was traded to Montreal for some prospect guy and a draft pick. It's basically just new hook. Like, we're done with you. Like, we've gotten Johansson as second center, but so because we got him, we're going to move on to a different project. Yeah. Really, now that I'm speaking this out loud, doesn't this sound familiar? It kind of sounds like a Frank Clark signing. A Frank Clark signing, and then the next day they make another pivot that is just monumental. Like,
yes, love it.
In the same position.
I'll say this real quick while we're talking Avalanche trades. I'm actually really excited as somebody who is second team. I go to see them quite often. I go to Nashville Predators games.
Yeah.
Living so close to the city, and so I go to a lot of Predators games, and I love Ryan Johansson. I've liked watching him over the past the past 5-6 years in Nashville. I can't wait to see what he could do in Colorado. I'm excited about that trade.
I just, it's probably one of those like addition by subtraction. Alex Newhook probably needs a new scenery to restart his career because it wasn't working. Obviously, it just
not.
It's just I don't like when organizations do one move and catapult it with another move altogether. So it's like something big happens, but don't look at this because we made another move to like suffice the exact same hole at the exact same time. So like,
absolutely,
I don't know. I like to digest if you're gonna make a hole for a position. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I see that a lot in different teams, and this is just another example of. But I'm excited for Johansson to say.
Oh yeah, Ryan Johansson is a phenomenal center.
Yeah,
he's a great player. What I really like about him is how calm and cool he is. As as much as any hockey player can be. We are talking about hockey, but his ability to lead. He's a great freaking leader, and that is actually a major loss to the Predators. Like his leadership in that locker room, he is undoubtedly one of the biggest leaders in that locker room. So to see him being in here, I'm pretty excited to see him in an Avalanche uniform.
Jody, I just want to touch on this, and then we'll leave hockey alone because that's a whole show. All right, Jody.
Oh.
But next year, Nathan McKinnon will be the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, and I don't think that's a good thing. Nate Dogg is a freak of a human, but he is not the leader of men. He's a freak. He's Von Miller.
He's an absolutely phenomenal player.
He's a freak.
But I can say I've had some bad leaders in my life.
Yeah.
There were guys that were just as a perfect example, simile on this one. Give me just a moment. I've just been contacted by Mike Klis. He's asking for the link because for whatever reason it didn't come through to him.
Mike Klis.
If you give me just a moment, go ahead and do your thing there, J-Bob.
So I don't know. From an Avalanche perspective, again, I want Cale Makar to have the C, but that is basically Nathan's decision and only Nathan's decision, especially with EJ departing. Eric Johnson's next up in justification of voice as far as players go. So maybe Joe Sakic, Nate Dogg, and Makar get into a room and they decide Makar is the young guy that needs the C. And if that happens,
but I mean, do you really think he's ready to lead this team?
Was Gabe? Gabe was the youngest captain in NHL history when he got the C. So I don't want to hear that argument.
Okay. All right. I mean, I can see what you're saying.
Yep. I got big feelings.
It's not necessarily. I don't know. I mean, all right. So if you'll continue on with you'll run through the comments, talking to our peeps.
Absolutely.
I'm just getting in touch with Mr. Klis right now.
Avatar is saying I love the Johansson trade as well. Again, we've been missing that 2C, that Kadri, hole for quite some time. So that's going to make a big difference. But at the end of the day, the leadership top down is a big deal for that Avalanche club. And I'm scared for that team. It could go either way for me. And I wish Gabe was back because Gabe was the guy that made this entire team go. Similar to Jokic in a culture building sense. So the Avalanche, unfortunately, might have some. Tyler, I won't have your Philly Fire nonsense. Get Gritty out of here. But
absolutely.
Seriously, it's good, man. Hockey's on the horizon. I'm excited to talk hockey, but dude, football, man. I'm so excited for football.
You and me both. And we're seeing it. We're seeing. You were seeing it all coming together.
I'm excited because it's quiet. Sean Payton's quiet. He's quietly moving, shuffling through the leaves.
Like anybody who thought we were going to get anything out of Sean Payton in the offseason has never paid attention to a Sean Payton-led team. Ever. He does. Listen, if you take nothing else from a Sean Payton press conference, it's how much he hates the media.
He does. And that's one of my questions to Mike.
And that's the thing. It's one of mine too, actually. Yeah.
Damn it, cousin.
Legitimately, and I don't think it's that he actually hates the media. I'm pretty sure he probably gets along with these guys in passing just fine. But he's basically he's like, just leave me alone. Let me focus. Let us focus on getting this team ready.
He's protecting his players, and I get that.
Yes,
You don't want a person tweeting in the middle of practice, Tebow throwing the flopper ball. Like, you don't want that. That's a competitive disadvantage. So I get it. There's pros and cons.
Absolutely. There's pros and cons to it. But, I mean, okay, we are a month. Tomorrow marks 1 month away from training camp. Oh! God, I'm so excited. But, a couple things on that real quick before Mike joins Mr. Klis joins us on here. Have you noticed that for those that want to attend, tickets will be mandatory. Aha. Oh my. We hold that thought, because the one, the only, the bona fide Broncos insider, Mr. Mike Klis, has officially joined us, and he's in the green room. I'm going to bring him on right now. If you all will please help me give a huge orange and blue crew welcome to Mr. Mike Klis.
Oh man.
Good evening.
Very nice, very nice. I'm driving through Nebraska right now.
Oh, he's in your neck of the woods, Jay.
Over, but
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska myself, Mike.
I took off. All right, is that right? Yeah, I took off a little early today, and I apologize for not being set up more properly. But
oh no.
Oh shoot.
Anyway, I can see you and watch the road
great.
at the same time.
That's great, Mike. I mean, and to be honest, it doesn't bother us at all. One time I've interviewed Benjamin Albright while he was getting Chipotle. So, this is not a big deal at all.
Sorry about this, guys.
Thank you so much.
Getting.
Hey,
I'm
the first person to understand issues in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them cornfields don't give you very good reception.
There's a telephone pole right there.
Wow. Jay, you found it.
I think
the one. Oh wow, yeah, you are sure in the boonies then there, Mike. Yeah, you're out in the nowheres.
Yeah.
So we won't keep you too long, Mike.
No.
Thank you for coming on the show, agreeing to come on the show. We're huge fans of yours, first of all.
Very much so. I was gonna say, Johnny, go ahead. I've got my own soapbox of fanboy here. Oh my gosh, it's Mike Klis, but you go first, Johnny.
Well, to be fair, I did do all the work to get him on the show. So, no, I'm just kidding. But Mike, I think all of us are. Yeah, I know. I want to thank you for joining us. I do want to ask, since we have you, obviously you've been around the team for a very long time. And so we would I think all of us would like to know, what differences are you noticing this offseason, if any, versus last offseason?
Well, there's quite a bit of difference. Last year was all about the hype of Russell Wilson, and he was going to be the one to lead the Broncos to the promised land. The losing seasons were over. This year, after they fell in spectacular fashion, 5-12, and Russell did not play well, along with the rest of the team. This year, it's all about Sean Payton, the coach, and I think from what you can see and feel, the coach is going to make a difference. Probably more so than the quarterback. I think Russ is still a good quarterback. He probably can't carry the team. I don't know if he ever did, if he ever was capable of carrying a team. Seattle had always a good defense, a real good coach, a real good running game with Marshawn. But I do think Sean Payton, and it's not just Drew Brees. First of all, Drew Brees was a 6-foot quarterback, and he made him a Hall of Famer. And Russ is 5'10" and a half. So Sean Payton knows how to run the 6-foot and under offense. And I just think the way Sean Payton operates, the command he has, I think there's a little fear the players feel for him, which they needed after Nathaniel Hackett last year. I think it's just it just feels like it's being run the right way and coached up the right way. And I don't know about his assistant coaches. He's got a lot of youth on offense anyway, and defense, he's got quite a bit of experience. Vance Joseph, Manuski, Christian Parker, Marcus Dixon, all those guys are experienced. On offense, there's some young guys that are kind of first time at the level that they're at. Zach Streif at offensive line coach, for instance. But
Sure.
it just feels like it's run the way a winning team should run. Now, whether they have the roster or not, and all the pieces or not, we'll find out. But I do think they're going to be well coached all year.
And that's wonderful for us to hear. We have a question in the comment section for you, Mike. Our good friend Rob Myrick, also known as Bronco Rob, he asks, he welcomes you to the Orange and Blue Network, and he asks, do you feel like Sean Payton's offense will produce in year one, or could it take 2 to 3 years, in your opinion, to develop?
I think it has no choice but to produce in year one. It's this team has never finished, I don't think, better than 22nd since their Super Bowl year. And so as far as scoring points, so, yeah. And so I think they'll get top 15. I don't know if they're going to be top 10, but I think they'll get top 15. And
cool.
Yeah, I do think they're going to produce. It's going to be, he fortified the offensive line with McGlinchey and Powers. And, he's got Russ. The other thing that you notice about Russ is getting rid of the ball a lot quicker. And
that's good.
Yeah,
that's
more
great.
decisive. Yeah, as you guys know, that was definitely an issue last year.
Yeah.
And so and there's a commitment to the running game. Not sure about Javonte Williams, if he's going to be ready. They think so, and they hope so, but we'll find out. We'll find out if that's going to be true or not. And then, there's a lot of tight ends, the Troutman and Mannerts and all the that's going to be interesting to see how all that works. So, I think I think they're going to be better right away. I think
that's good to hear.
I think the defense, my prediction is, I think the defense might be a little comeback, because I'm not sure about their pass rush. And they've lost quite a over the year. When you lose Miller and you lose Chubb and Draymond Jones, your pass rush isn't going to be as good. So
sure.
So maybe
I read your article that you released just today, and it hit the nail on the head on the pass rushing issue. That is massive. It's a glaring need.
And it surprised me when I did all the research on how bad the pass rush was.
Yeah.
Because, they had all these pieces with Vaughn and, they had, at one point they had Vaughn, DeMarcus Ware, Shaq Barrett,
Shane Ray.
Yeah, Shane Ray. They leaked over into Bradley Chubb, but they never put it all together.
Yeah.
And, injuries was the big factor there. And now they got Randy Gregory, who's got a lot of talent, but he also, has injury issues. So
I was gonna say health is his Achilles heel. I mean,
no doubt about it. He only had 2 sacks last year. They were in the first 3 games, and then came the knee injury in game 4.
Yeah.
So with Baron Browning down, Frank Clark, that's nice. He's a big name.
Yep.
And I know he's done really well in the postseason, but the fact is, in the regular season, the last 3 years, he's had something like 5, 4.5, and 6 sacks. So, he's not a savior. So I think that's going to be interesting there. But a better offense, maybe not quite as good a defense here in 2023, which is okay. It's an all right flip. It's an all right flip, because in today's NFL, guys, you got to score.
That's where the money should be.
Yep. Yeah. This is a scoring league.
Yep.
Jay, did you have a question Did you have a question you wanted to ask, Mr. Mike?
Just kind of in the same ill of change and the change of culture that we're kind of, I think the common fan really doesn't understand because everything has been so hush hush and kind of, under the radar, if you will, as compared to last year and the circus we went through last year.
Yeah.
But I guess to your perspective, like during practice, you can't tweet. You can't do anything in a live sense. How has that changed your job?
It's okay. It's not that bad a deal. We were tweeting out pictures of practice, and now no one's been carted off the field yet. And
yeah, well, but that's a big deal. Who's going to break that? Is that going to slip? Well,
here's the deal. In training, as I understand it, and I'm not quite up on. I don't read the rules too well.
They shouldn't apply to you, Mike.
Yeah,
right? You have the lifelong media pass. You just.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure Mike has the Trump. Is the only member of the media with the Trump card.
Yeah.
Like Sean Payton tries to pull MLB ump and be like, "You're out of here," and he's like, "Trump card."
Yeah.
Living legend.
You would think so, but those young PR guys are always coming up to me telling me about something I did wrong. But what do
they know, Mike? They haven't been in the business half as long as you.
Yeah. Hey, but in training camp, as I understand, when it's open to the public, we will be able to tweet because there's fans.
Yeah,
the fans can tweet. There's no on fans, and so if they can do it, we can do it. So
absolutely,
sure,
yeah. So I think during training camp we're going to be able to tweet during the practice.
That's not too bad.
But otherwise, during
the practice,
we will not.
Thank you. Just interesting, just small stuff you don't think about.
Yeah. So
yeah. We have another question for you from the comments. This one comes from our buddy Ty Y Chunis. We call him Ty Y. He says, another question. Do you agree with reports that our Broncos are picked to be the most turned around team of the upcoming season?
They got a chance. They do. They really do have a chance. And again, it's because of Sean Payton. I mean, you look at his track record. He had some losing seasons. I think he had a 3-year spurt where he was 7-9, 3 years in a row. Maybe it was only 2 years in a row, but so it's not just him alone, but I do think he's going to make a difference. And obviously the key is Russell Wilson and him. And and geez, Russell Wilson, a top 10 quarterback, 9 of his first 10 years. It's just hard to believe he's, fallen off a cliff. It had to have been so many other factors. And a lot of the factors I think maybe were Russ. Russ kind of took over the franchise and ballyhooed himself like he was the second coming. He's been humbled, and it's not going to be Russell Wilson's show anymore. It's going to be Sean Payton's show. I just think that whole mix has a chance for this team to turn around. And, it's been 6 years, so turn around as, can they win? Can they have a winning record? And
hey, with the successes of the Cronkies here and the sports environment and culture in Denver, I don't know how they don't have so much pressure on them right now. Like, they gotta feel it.
Yeah, they do in the sense with the Avs and the Nuggets doing good. On the other hand, there's more pressure on the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl and not winning it. There's more pressure on the 49ers getting to the Final Four 3 of the last 4 years and not winning. There's a lot of pressure on the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, and the Broncos are coming off 6 straight losing seasons. So if they go 8-9 or 9-8, that's a big improvement from
which, by the way, my apologies. I wasn't trying to interrupt you there. But I don't know if you saw it on today. It dropped today on the sportsdrop.com. They plugged all the NFL teams into an AI today. based on all the offseason moves and everything else that has happened. And this AI program actually picked the Broncos to have a 9-8 season.
Okay.
Right on the head there.
Well, Vegas has humans, wise guys, and they got the Broncos 8.5 on the over and under. So I guess
there it is.
I guess
Hey
everyone.
Jay, you gonna take the under there, buddy?
That's why I'm always going over.
Jay always bets the over.
Yeah. It's more fun.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So I have another one for you. If we can just pivot a little bit, and this is actually just leaving complete Broncos talk, or at least the current state of Broncos talk. Mike, I want to know from you. I've been reading your articles. I've been watching you on 9 News, and I live in Tennessee, and I still manage to watch you on 9 News.
Wow.
Thank you. But
more than my wife and kids.
Well, that's okay. My wife doesn't watch our show either. So,
yeah.
But I would like to ask, what is your personal all-time favorite memory with the Broncos involving you? What is your favorite memory with the Broncos?
Covering, as far as just covering, I would say there's 2. One is the Tim Tebow season, of 2011, where there was just improbable rally after improbable rally, divine intervention on all of them. You can argue. There was that 6-game winning streak where Tebow looked so bad. I mean, it was a familiar pattern. Tebow looked bad for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth editor, all of a sudden his passes started connecting. He started getting accurate, and then Prater would kick the long, 58-yard field goals to tie it or win it. It was just that was the most remarkable thing. And then when he hit Demaryius Thomas in the playoff game for the
the
8-play walk-off. I mean, not only did that stadium shake, and it was hard. It's hard for that stadium to shake versus the old Mile High because it's twice as big square feet wise.
Yeah,
Power Field is as the old Mile High. So and it's much more sturdier built and all those things. That not only was it shaking there, but you could kind of see it shaking around the city. In the balconies, in the the apartments around town. They were all just yelling Tebow, Tebow. That was probably the most exciting as far as covering that in the EY home run to lead off the first home game in Colorado, Denver history, 1993. Those are like the earth-shaking moments. And then Peyton Manning's 2013 season, which
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not quite getting its due because they got blown out in the Super Bowl. But 55 touchdown passes and almost 5,500 passing yards. To cover that, you really got a sense that you were covering history all year.
Yeah.
And they capped it off. They went to the Super Bowl, and it was just a shame what happened in the Super Bowl because
it was
Manning's not getting, the due. It's, that those records, even though they've gone to 17 games now, 2 years going on 3, no one's approached his records. I mean, it's phenomenal what he did that year. And they had all those receivers putting up big numbers. Decker, Welker, Thomas, Demaryius.
Which, by the way, big happy 35th birthday to Julius Thomas because today's his birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, Orange Julius.
Yeah, he had 12 touchdowns that year. And then Noshan Moreno, somehow they finished 1,000-yard rusher that year also.
Yeah.
Just
bonkers.
Phenomenal.
Well, and I'll tell you.
They scored 38 points a game that year, which is unbelievable when you watch what this offense has done the last 6 years where they've struggled to score 17 points.
It's like we sold our soul to the devil or something like that, and we're paying for it.
Yeah.
I that what you just said there has occurred to me.
And I'll tell you, I'll tell you, Mike, I agree with you on that 2013 season. I was actually deployed in Afghanistan for almost that entire regular season.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that, sir. I appreciate that. And honestly, I don't know where my cap is. I have my hat around here somewhere that was in Afghanistan with me. It was the only I was able to convince my commanding officer to allow me to break uniform regulations once a week to wear my Broncos hat on game days. And the only thing that kept me going each week was the promise that I could stay up till 3 a.m. at the on the fob MWR and catch the Broncos game at the at 3 a.m.
Wow.
And that was the only thing that kept me going all season. And actually that in that season, I actually reached out to Matt Prater and he became my pen pal while I was in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Which so that season
Prater
holds a very
year. Yeah, Prater
yes, he did.
Phenomenal year that year.
And then
he was 25 out of 26 in field goals. And of course, he kicked that 64-yarder in December when it was 9 degrees out. And phenomenal year. Yeah.
And then I came home from Afghanistan and to a Super Bowl party where we lost. I'd been home about 4 days when we lost the Super Bowl, and I was like, I'm going back to Afghanistan.
Yeah, that was. You talk about just so disappointing. All those Super Bowl parties, and everyone left at halftime. It was, or at least the opening kickoff of the second half. It was just a shame. It really did kind of ruin the whole season.
Yep.
I won't lie. I was double fisting bottles of Jack Daniels in my driveway by the second half. But
I don't remember that night either.
So Mike, if you're willing to give us just a few more minutes of your time, Jay, maybe you have another question for him. We can get one more out of the comments for you if you have the time.
My last thing, Mike. I mean, I've appreciated you from afar as a lifelong Bronco fan.
He's
just
married, Jay.
I just so much appreciate his work. Like
I know.
Dude, sports means a lot. It gets you through a lot of hard times in life, and you are a creator and someone that brings the team to life, and the common fan really needs to appreciate that more than they do. So thank you. I don't have a question, just that.
Hey, well, that's very nice of you to say. I never, that is nice because I never stop to reflect what I do or what kind of job I do. I've kind of, to do my job, as soon as you're done with one story or as soon as you're done with one TV hit, as soon as you're done reporting out, one tidbit, it's just, you got to go on, you got to drop it, forget about it and go on to the next one, or you're going to get beat. Get it handed to you on the next story. So I appreciate that. That's kind. I'm sure I'm going to get scooped here in the next 15 minutes now.
No,
that's very kind.
You, sir, are living our dream. Like this is truly Jay and I, we are blood cousins, first cousins, and we are. And we've both grown up under the tutelage of our grandfather, who was a season ticket holder since 1960.
Yeah.
And we just both of us, I know, had a dream to either play for the Broncos or be involved with the Broncos in some way. So you, sir, are living our dream. And we get to live vicariously through you.
Yeah. Bronco Mania should not be taken for granted. It is amazing. Just the interest in the team. I do not blow off news about the second team guard spraining his ankle because I know thousands of people are interested in it in Broncos country. And, and really the whole Denver market. I mean, look how bad the Colorado Rockies are. They lose the game to the Angels the other day, 25-1. They had 45,000 people there. And they sold out the other day, and they had 40,000 the day after, 25-1. And then everybody was just bonkers on the Nuggets last year on the Avalanche. It's a unique market, and I knew that following the Rockies from its infancy back in the 90s. The Denver market is just unique with its fan base, and it's definitely part of Broncos mania. It's not quite the mania it was in the 70s. You can't beat that when everyone had orange cars and painted their houses orange, and they had blue walls and orange carpet.
We're like second
on
generation.
the
We're the
on the wall over there.
Yeah,
On the wall over there, I actually have my grandmother's, our grandmother's orange Monday
yeah, okay,
shirt hung up on the wall over there from
okay,
like '76, I think.
yeah, beautiful.
So I mean,
yeah, beautiful. It's a little more of a difficult to please fan base now because they've tasted victory. It's like it's kind. I'm a Cub fan, and the chase was brought unconditional love. When they weren't doing it. Now that they've done it, there's more of a conditional love. It's it's Super Bowl or bust now, as it should be. It's just not quite as fun when you're pursuing it the way the Broncos were for so many years.
Yeah.
So my last question for you then, you said you're a Cubs fan. That means in baseball we are not friends because I'm a Cardinals fan.
Okay,
but
that's all right.
It's the only team. It's the only That's the only non-Denver team that I claim. But let me ask you this: if you've covered the team since, I believe you've covered the Broncos since 2005, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so before you were covering the Broncos, were you a fan of the Broncos? And if not, who was your team when you were growing up as far as football goes?
No, I followed the Broncos. I moved out here in '84 from the Chicagoland area, and it's a long story, but I was a Packer fan growing up, and basically my excuse there, I'm a Cub fan, I'm a Bulls fan, I'm a Blackhawks fan, and I'm a Packers fan. The Bears games, I'm old enough to where in the '60s the NFL blacked out home games in the market. Wow. And the Packers were the next team that were shown instead. And the Packers are really good, and they had nice green uniforms, dark green. And the Bears had that bland, at the time, black and white uniform. They had terrible quarterbacks. They could, Gale Sayers was fun to watch, but it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust otherwise. And the Packers
had
a
right side of history. Right side of history there, Mike.
Yeah, the Packers had Bart Starr. How can you not when you're like 8, 9 years
old?
Oh, yeah. Quarterback named Bart Starr. And Joe Namath was my AFL quarterback at the time. So I was all about the pass.
Okay.
I'm all about the quarterback. I have been forever. And that's why I think circling it all back, I think the Broncos will be better this year because Sean Payton likes to pass. For all the talk on running the ball, he set records with Drew Brees in the passing game. And I do think Russell Wilson's going to benefit.
Well, it's because he uses the run to set up the pass so well.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's promising to do that. I mean, he got Chris Manhertz as a tight end. Chris Manhertz a career high, single season high is 6 catches. So make no mistake, he's out there to be the third offensive tackle in the run game.
Yep.
And Adam Troutman is a good two-way tight end who's a little bit more of a blocker than receiver, even though, he wants to catch the ball more than he did with New Orleans without Sean Payton. And then you got the Joker.
Yeah.
There's a Joker on the Broncos, and that's Greg Dulcich. And boy, big things should be coming from him this year. So, and I do think those receivers, this is the 4th straight year of this receiving core of Sutton, Judy, Hamler, and Patrick, and it just has not worked out as it was supposed to because of injuries. And so hopefully they keep it all together and they add Marvin Mims to the equation and get some speed.
I'm excited about him.
Yeah, you should be. He can run. I'm not sure, what rookies do.
Oh,
I've just seen these 2nd round rookies take a year. So we'll see if, and he's 21. He's mature for 21, but he's 21. But hopefully he can catch
Okay.
enough deep balls to open up the field and push those safeties back, and they can do some damage in the middle of the field.
Oh, ideal.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, we'll let you go so you can get back on the road because I noticed that you pulled over for us, and I cannot thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight. I hope that it hasn't been a horrible experience for you and that you'd consider coming on again in the future. But we really do appreciate you.
Seriously.
And we appreciate we read your articles and your stories every single day. So we thank you so much for it.
Yeah.
I think we may have lost him.
Well, I appreciate.
Oh no, we just blacked out.
Yeah, you've been very kind.
No.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much, Mike. Really
thanks, Mike, and have safe travels.
Absolute honor. Holy cow!
Oh,
it's like it's like Mike Klis or something. Just holy cow! Wow.
You're losing it, dude. I mean, I'm with you. I'm fangirling up in here too.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of fun. One of my favorite parts about one of my favorite parts about being Broncos media is meeting other members of Broncos media. I almost fangirl more over meeting certain people in Broncos media or in Denver media than I do actually talking to and meeting the players. Like isn't that crazy? That shows how weird we are, but at the same time, like it's just part of what we do. That's the first time that you and I have ever interacted with Mike Klis. Yep. And that's a huge deal for us.
It is.
Mike is phenomenal. I will definitely be thanking him. Giving him a major shout out on social media.
He is Denver lore of media. So you can only strive to be him. I can't. Just not.
I mean, who's Lombard? Who's the other guy in Denver sports media that's up there with Mike? And that it would have to be Vic Lombardi.
Probably Sandy's been around for a long, long time.
Okay, Sandy, Mike, and Vic. Those three, they are literally the holy trinity of Denver sports media. Yeah. And we just and so for us, you guys I don't know if you guys are laughing at us there at home watching this, but for us, that was the very first opportunity we've ever actually had to actually talk with Mike Klis. And so for this was a huge moment for us. We had a lot of fun with it. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I got some information. He definitely, I don't know if you noticed it. I noticed it. Every time we'd ask him a question, when he got excited about something, there was a slight inflection in his voice. When we're like, I like Marvin Mims. He's like, yeah, well, you should.
You should.
I love that. I love that.
Highlighted, man. There's
that felt so good.
Things.
And when are the Broncos going to be better this year? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's exposed to the team more than just about anybody else out there. He's sitting here telling you, Broncos country, get excited for 2023. I burped. I apologize. I got too excited. But
now, you know what he did say? I will dissect just one thing. I'm going to dissect one thing. Oh,
please don't do this to me.
Just one thing.
Go ahead. Have your moment.
Only because I like steak. He did say they believe Javonte will be ready. He didn't say I do.
I was sitting here thinking you were going to talk about Frank Clark.
No. No, he's like, they believe he's going to be ready. But they believe it.
No, I've said it since day one. Javonte's not going to be ready by the beginning of the season.
Not even close.
I said that the day he got injured. Okay, I know that injury. I have literally treated people with that injury. He's not coming back in less than a year. That doesn't happen. No. Not perfect anyway, not ready. He can be on the field taking snaps. That's fine. You do you, boo-boo. But he's not ready by day one. And in my opinion, if we see him take the field in day one, I'm actually going to be pretty upset with our as much as I'd be excited to see him, I'm going to be angry with our strength and conditioning staff for pushing him out there too early.
Yeah. And let me say another
Look what happened to Tua. Sorry,
True.
Just saying.
No.
Look what happened to Tua when you push a guy back out into the game way too soon. He may never be the same quarterback again.
You're right. You're
Just
very
saying.
right.
So, I won't. Ty says, I won't. I'll take my steak. I love it. So, hey, I've got something for you there. It's going to be a little segment of that's what he said.
What did he say?
Ooh. Are you gonna quote our interview we just had?
Oh, you know it, baby. You know. No, I'm actually not this time. I'm actually gonna quote former Denver Broncos coach Nathaniel Hackett.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is a pertinent story. Like,
have you read this and heard about this interview?
I really haven't, but I've seen
All
headlines.
Right, I can't remember
I know the gist, but
I can't remember what podcast he was on. But basically, Nathaniel Hackett went on a podcast this last week, and he was asked about his time in Denver, and he bared it all. I mean, he laid it out there as to the happenings of this previous season. So basically, he was asked what happened and how are you feeling about it? What are you taking away from it? And of course, I'm paraphrasing the question. You're a monster. No, I'm paraphrasing the interviewer just a little, but this is the answer that Nathaniel Hackett gave. And you can read this in many different ways. He says, in the end, and I'm quoting this, and I quote, in the end, you've got to win. That's what it's all about. Whether you're a coach or a player, you've got to win. And we, the Broncos, didn't win enough. I look back, and there were so many things that I learned from my time in Denver. I think it was a great experience. You never know what it's like until you're in that chair, and it was an honor to have been in that chair, even though it was for a limited time. You continually take all the things that you went through and the things you can potentially do better. As a coach, we question everything. We always want to try to make ourselves better, and I think there are a lot of things that are going to make me better. I think everything happens for a reason. To be able to have an opportunity with the New York Jets and be back with Aaron Rodgers, that's unbelievable. That ends the quote. There was some other little, little bitty tidbit, snippets in there too that you could throw in, but that is the bulk of it.
That actually solidifies exactly what I thought. I didn't hear that before you just read it.
So tell me what you're thinking, because like a lot of people are being hypercritical of this interview. They're talking about like, oh well, of course he's gonna say it was a good experience, and I don't know why I'm channeling Bill Cosby as I'm saying that there, but I didn't know it was a good experience.
No,
but
did he say that? Like, I mean,
he did. He said it was a good experience, and I value it.
Yeah, in the same light of someone that says like, that car accident was just a good learning experience. I just, now I know how to go through the process of getting into a car accident. So, like, It was just an optimist look of, like, I got something positive out of everything. Like, so I come from that perspective, but I also heard a lot of, I just realized I wasn't qualified for that job. In the same light as offensive coordinator said the same damn thing in season.
Sure. I mean, it's there.
I learned so much that I learned I wasn't qualified. I wasn't ready. Like, that's what I learned.
Well, that, and you never, and I agree with what he said. You never know, and I can speak this into existence in multiple facets in life. You never know what something's going to be like until you do it.
You're right.
And I mean, here, again, we've seen him as an offensive coordinator. He's a great offensive coordinator. Nobody knew, including him, what kind of head coach he was going to be until he tried to do it. And it sucked. It sucked, the big one. It was terrible. And we all look back on it with absolute disgust. But you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that was a very large quote. Okay? There was a lot said in that quote. And a lot of coaches in the past that have failed, Josh McDaniels, only say things like, I value the experience. It was a great experience. That's all they say. but they don't really in any way, shape, or form own that it was not that it was as bad as it was.
They don't change. They don't do anything different.
No. Now, Nathaniel Hackett on that one, I'm going to give him some props because he said it comes down to winning, and we didn't. And I didn't have it right. And it was not good. He literally took responsibility and said the product was not right.
Well, I mean, let's look at his
I will give him props on at least owning that.
So his 1 year was basically as a hired hand to a resignation of a whole regime and administration. Like, because the ownership changed in the exact wrong time for the old people had to hire someone to like greet the new people at the door. And so like it was.
But couldn't they have done that? I mean, again, though, I asked the question, couldn't they have done that with someone like Dan Quinn or, any of the other slew of guys, Josh Gannon, any of the other guys that they were interviewing? They could have done it with a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
It was not right. It was not right. It did not go well.
Will go down as a great coordinator, much like a lot of coordinators. That,
and
like,
you know what? There is a chance. There's a great chance that he could be a good head coach in the future.
Sure.
Look at Andy Reid. Andy Reid was a crap head coach his first go around as head coach. Okay, maybe not crap, but he was not great. He was not the Andy Reid that we see now.
Yeah.
He went back to being a coordinator for a while, and then on his second time coming back. Now, I'm not saying this happens to everybody because obviously Josh McDaniels is a perfect example of somebody who tries head coach twice and sucks both times.
It's really that's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was that. I mean, he was head coach for the Browns. He was head coach in multiple capacities before the Patriots, and the Patriots was just the one that stuck. Like, it actually worked. So, you never know. You're right.
So
you're right.
I mean, I like the quote. I like that he took some responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And and he doesn't hold any animosity to the Broncos organization for letting him go. Mm-hmm. At least you don't get the feeling that he does. Last two things. We did already kind of say it during our Mike Klis interview, but a huge happy birthday, 35 years old, to number 80, Julius Thomas. I got to say, I was very, very sad when Julius Thomas left Denver. One of my favorite players getting way out of line moments is when Julius Thomas scored that touchdown in Kansas City, ran to the back of the end zone, looked up at the stands, and shouted as loud as he could so that the cameras could hear him. It's so easy! It's so fucking easy! It was so beautiful because all he was doing was trying to rile that crowd up.
Yeah.
And it was, I loved it. So big happy 35. You got 1 year on me there, Orange Julius. To him.
Yeah. Would be remorse if I didn't mention. I don't know if you read this. Did you read the whole Ryan Mallett? Really sad. R.I.P.
No.
Ryan Mallett. He drowned. So,
no.
Yeah, and I used to play Ryan Mallett. I thought was going to be a dynamite quarterback. Like
he wasn't, but
he could have been. He had the physical tools to be very good.
Something was off there. Something just never clicked. But that's very sad to hear. So you know what?
Too bad.
I don't have it. I'm out of drink. I've drank all 3 beers, and I don't have another one to open right now. So, here's to Ryan Mallett. And rest in peace.
Absolutely.
That's last thing. Before we get out of here, I do want to ask you, and we haven't even given a shout out to our sponsor yet today, so we'll have to get that before we get out of here.
Yes.
But I do want to point out, I noticed one of a good friend of this show, Benjamin Albright, the other Broncos insider that I trust very, very highly, right up there with Mike Klis. He put out a tweet today. And the stats showed that the Denver Broncos have been the most fined team in the NFL over the last 5 years.
Why does that not surprise you at all?
Now he did put out one fact with it, and that was that the that while the Broncos have been the most fined, the Cleveland the Cleveland Browns have been the highest fined in terms of how much they've had to pay, largely due in part to the Myles Garrett Mason Rudolph altercation on the field.
I was gonna say flying helmets.
But the Broncos have been fined more than any other team in the NFL over the last 5 years. That I don't like that fact, you guys. I really don't. Like maybe I was putting on the orange and blue blinders because I always had in my head that this team didn't do the dirty stuff.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, we've been worse than the Raiders for the past 5 seasons.
As soon as Gary Kubiak hung his hat up, that was it. Do you think all of our integrity, all of our loyal, like our what made our franchise what it is was gone, and we were adrift. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Now, here's the last point the last question / point I want to make on this situation, on this on this little factoid. Do we think that under Sean Payton and the kind of integrity that he's gonna browbeat into this team, that's gonna change? Or not integrity, discipline. No. That's what I meant to say.
It's actually gonna get worse. It's actually going the opposite way. But that's Sean Payton's style. Sean Payton is anti-establishment, anti-NFL. Sean Payton, historically, his teams are one of the most highest fines. Hello, Spygate. Like, there are plenty of pieces of evidence to support. Sean Payton don't care. He's a player's guy. He's not going to care about those things in the same manner as another organization or coach. So that's my 2 cents. I don't know.
And that's what I thought too. Obviously Spygate and all that. You have to call it, but I do think that
Bountygate. You're right, Tywai. Bountygate,
whatever. But either way, the only thing I will say, maybe less fines for inadvertent penalties, maybe. Just because he has had those refs out or up to the end of OTAs, he did have refs on the field so that this team gets disciplined. So maybe we'll see a little less in the way of like we might see more flagrant penalties based on what you're saying, Jay. But as far as like just oh God, you gotta quit the holding, buddy, kind of thing. We might see a lot less of that, and I like that. If we got to see if somebody's got to Aqib Talib go snatch a chain off somebody's neck every game, whatever. But I would like to see less than 6 or less penalties per game.
There's a difference. But think of it in this terms. There's a difference between the uncontrolled manner of the Raiders, who just do stupid things, have so many penalties. They're always one of the most penalized teams.
Get DUIs every weekend. Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's what they live and breathe. That's their organization. But you have the nastiness of someone like a Baltimore or someone like the historic Steelers organizations. Like that's a nastiness in a controlled way, and that's what I want. Indeed. I want nastiness controlled.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin doesn't do a good job of nastiness controlled. I like that, Jay. I like that. Dude, we should, what? That is, I'm going to put t-shirt. Rob Myrick on it. That's our next t-shirt. Nastiness controlled.
With Sean Payton's skirt,
Yep. Nastiness controlled. Rob Myrick, if you're still watching, brother, I need you to put together the t-shirt.
You're on it.
All right. So, hey guys, this episode has been an absolute blast. We want to give a huge mile high shout out to Mr. Mike Klis for joining us. Oh yeah. And what a dub it was for us to get Mike Klis on the show. And speaking of the dub, guys, jump on over to Dubby.gg, the sponsor of today's show, and get yourself a delicious tub of Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. This fantastic concoction. Every scoop contains as much caffeine as 2 cups of coffee. But the best part, there's no sugar. There's no calories. There's no maltodextrin, no fillers, no artificial colors. It's nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, giving you the absolute kick you need without the crash or the jitters later. Guys, jump on over to Dubby and get yourself the dub. Make sure at the checkout you punch in code NRWOB10 for 10% off your order. That's NRWOB10 at checkout for 10% off. Jay, just let us know. You got it right there on the desk with you right now. How good is that Dubby stuff?
It's super duper good, man, and I don't get jitters with it. I mean, I get jitters when I'm not on it, but I mean, like, when I'm on this, I'm not jitters. You know, I'm jitterless. So it's good stuff. It's great.
I love it. I love it. Guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on the Orange and Blue Network. We want to thank Mike Klis for joining us tonight, albeit on the road. He might have been on the road driving through the most boring state. Sorry, Jay, in the United States. In monster. I love you guys. No, he might have been on the road and had to, and it was. We definitely got some sides of Mike, like close up.
I mean,
I think I might know the topography of his face better than his wife now, but
probably tweet him that.
No.
Who's your dad?
No. Well played, sir. Well, we do want to give him a huge mile high thank you, a huge shout out. We want to thank all of you for joining in and throwing your questions out to Mike. We will be back this next Tuesday for another awesome episode of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network. Guys, we're going to get out of here in our traditional way. So if you will please get your arms out with me for a big, waiting for you, Jay. Oh, mile high five.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Broncos Country. Thank you, Nuggets Nation. And thank you, thank you, Orange and Blue crew. We will see you this time next week. Bye-bye.